everyone, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and welcome to the vlog for the Spring Mini Skein mini-series from 2022. The theme this year is all about rainbows, and I am so excited to create so many different types of rainbow sets, starting with different types of colors and different amounts of mixing and all that jazz. This series is going to have a number of bonus videos, Dye Pot Weekly episodes, some that extend beyond, because, well, I'm going to do color mixing with neon colors. I'm going to want to do color mixing with the secondaries too. And so it's just been a lot of fun to play around with all of this mixing. And I have to tell you, it takes strength to not just have everything be neon. Of course, up until this point, everything is neon, but I have plans. I have plans to do a muted rainbow based on the color mixing that I did from Hanukkah 2021. And I plan to do some more color mixing with non-neon primaries to mix a perfect rainbow from primary colors as well. And I'm just really, really excited. We're using lots of different yarn bases, going to do a lot of different comparison. And well, the main theme is rainbow, and so it should be happy and a celebration of color. And well, I just got word that one of the extras that I am like unbelievably excited about is finally getting shipped to me. And so I'm very excited because I will unbox it in this vlog, and it's gonna be really hard to not tell y'all what it is. Even though I may mention what it is in the listing, which I haven't listed yet, but I wanna make sure it arrives before I open up pre-orders, because if something goes wrong, then, I mean, that would affect the pricing and everything like that. I'm in the middle of filming some conclusions for the depth of shade video, and the color transfer we got with the diamond is a little unfortunate, although it's still really pretty because like there's even some orange transfer on the pink. I don't know if there's any onto here, but they each have a little bit of transfer on them. And so I need to figure out a way like to call it maybe imperfect set or something. I think I'm either going to save it and just list it in the shop after the fact, or list it with like a double asterisk or something to let someone sort of pick it. There is some of the transfer also with the yak. I'm really thinking it's the silk that caused all that to happen. So I should have separated things more as I was setting them. But you learn, and that's what lessons are for. I made a discovery today and found that you can still see the fluorescent glow even with like the softbox still on and lights on in the room. I mean, it's a little more dramatic if I go ahead and turn off the softbox and overhead light, but there's still too much natural light in here for me to just show it as is, but oof. So you can see it. I did consider waiting until it was dark to film those conclusions. So that way, when I turned off all the lights, the dining room where I filmed this would be dark instead of having to try to transfer everything to a closet, potentially mixing up the sets. And well, there's not enough space to have the whole layout there all as it is, but it takes a while to twist the minis. So starting at the beginning, showing everything laid out, and then getting to the sets with the minis, there's a lot of time in there. And so it was easier to do in a daytime when I knew I had more hours, and yeah, I wanted to make sure it got done. But I do have regrets that with the color mixing that I did for Dye Pot Weeklies that are coming out around this week, with the neons, that I didn't realize I could just bring the black light over and show that. So that is one little regret that I have. But anyway, I have more conclusions to film, so I'm gonna get back to it. A box just arrived, and I am very, very excited to open this up, and thought I should do it on camera. I have been waiting for this for a while. I think I ordered these back in January, and I am so excited, and I'm trying to open the box without looking. Oh, there's bubble wrap, so I can't actually see. It is very, very well taped. Okay. Oh my god, I just saw those. Oh my god, they're bigger than I thought. They're a lot bigger than I thought. say ChemKnits Creations on the back. These are so cool. Again, bigger than I thought. Oh, there's like the bag and then box, and what is this? Okay, more stuff that they offer. But oh my goodness! Oh, I am so excited. And the patterning of the anodization is very, very interesting. I don't know what I was expecting, but it's really, really cute. And the yarn really, really pops too. Oh, so if you don't know, this is an enamel pin with my logo, and I'm just really, really excited. And I thought that like a rainbow treatment on the metal would be really, really fun. And I have a few of them. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean, the funny thing is that they don't necessarily feel that rainbow, but they feel very like purple and blue, which is a little on brand, which is very on brand for me. I'm amazed by how similar they all are, but this is really cool. They're big. They are big, and oh, it's so cute. But yeah, towards the like top of the flask, you can see some of the other colors. Ooh, if I shift it. Ooh. In different light, do the colors shift? Okay, well that's pretty fun. Or like, okay, wait a minute. I took this out of the bag, and I swear it is looking different than one of the ones still in the bag. Like it's getting less, it's like changing color before my eyes. Is that true? Okay, I gotta take another one out and see. Because I was like, ooh, it's very, very pink, right? But I feel like the colors like changed. Because I was like, oh, they all look very similar, but maybe like exposure to the air. Yeah, it's definitely changing. Oh, that's wild. That is wild. And so, okay, I'm gonna have these two out and just see what happens. Oh goody, it's getting like more and more rainbow, but maybe it's just like that one. Maybe it's because they're like, it's sealed in plastic or temperature. I have no idea, but they definitely, I mean, hard to tell, but they definitely look different. Ah! Like I think I thought that maybe it would be like less even across the surface, but I think depending on how ever they do it. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna leave these two out and we'll just check in after a little bit. Anyway, I have been wanting to make these for years, and so I am so excited. Editing Rebecca here. I have no idea what I was talking about there. I'm pretty sure that if there was a color shift, maybe it was a temperature thing because the box had just come in from outside and it was winter. But I do think that there is some variation pin to pin, and that's really, really fun. Plus, the listings for getting these rainbow anodized metal pins do say that they will be mostly blue and purple, which was something that I was like, well, if it's mostly blue and purple, those are my colors. So that wouldn't be a bad thing. But if you turn it to the side, around the edge, you see a lot more of those different rainbow hues. And then of course, on the back as well, you can see a little bit of it. And I'm so excited. But I love that I got the back stamp in the same font that my logo is. That's so much fun. But anyway, I don't have very many of these pins available. I have a couple standalone in my shop, and I'm not sure if it'll make sense to reorder this exact pin just because of the minimums required, but I do have other plans for other pins in the future. And so I'm really curious to hear what you thought about it because I'm so proud of this. It's something I've wanted to do like since I designed the logo. So I'm so excited. But anyway, let's get back to the behind the scenes. I just had to talk about the pins some more. I've lost a little bit of track of the number of videos I've filmed for the series so far. At least 3 finished main ones and then bonus videos and I don't know, a lot of rainbows, lots of rainbows. But my unnamed skein twister is still the MVP for when it comes to winding a million minis. Oh my goodness, I love it. When I say this skein winder is my MVP, I mean, it saves so much wrist tension. Here's just a little time lapse of me twisting up some of the minis. For a 20 gram mini, I need to twist it for about 5 seconds to get enough twist so it gives like a nice twisted skein. With full skeins, typically it would be closer to 3 seconds. The more thickness there is to the yarn itself, the less twist you need in order to twist it up. But it's really easy to get a groove on, and I'll pop on like a podcast or something. I'm usually watching some kind of video while I do this. And while there is a little bit of repetitive motion to this process, it's not bad at all, especially if I spread things out. And I'm very happy to say that the wrist that I injured during one of the Hanukkah videos back in 2021 is not bothering me anymore. I haven't noticed it in months. And so, phew, kind of want one of every single set on every base. This is the Speckled Night, and the colorway is pretty much the same on all 6 bases that I used. Of course, the yak always stands out, but I do think that I kind of want a colorway from each night, and so I have to think, do I want them all in the same base and then try to combine them in some way? I don't know. I probably won't keep one from every night, but I'm really, really enjoying dyeing all of them up. I have actually dyed up, I think, all 5 of the main nights, at least like one big batch of each of them. And I think this weekend I'm going to launch the pre-orders on the first day of spring. I figured that is appropriate. And then I will wait to dye some more until like the pre-orders get started. That way I can release more bases and give people a little bit of choice of what they would like, because I have plenty of bases to dye to the max of the kits I'm going to be able to create. I do have to inventory a few things and fix the listing because I have to just reconfigure the pricing, because not only are a lot of things getting a little bit more expensive, but this kit is having more yarn and more extras in it. So I just have to figure out something that still feels very fair. But I'm very, very excited for people to get their hands on this, and it's really not that long away, so I better get moving. This is my biggest wool to dye for order ever. And the nice thing, I was worried about cutting with the box, but it came with like cardboard. The box was sized well, so that way I would not worry everything. Ooh. Well, this isn't for the SMSMS, but I got some other goodies as well. Normally, I would have unboxed this in a live stream, but I didn't want to share the zebra. I didn't want to share the zebra because people don't know. I mean, sure, people may guess, but people don't know that's the base that I'm using, and so I want that to stay a surprise. I also have a lot of minis for Hanukkah. A camel silk sample. I'm very excited to dye this. I couldn't resist. And more minis that I need to do the rest of the SMSMS and to restock. I planned the spring mini skein mini series intentionally for me to restock some of the listings, because that way I could see what yarn bases you want and create more of those. So that way people won't miss out on the base that they wanted. And so, yeah, I just didn't anticipate that some of the bases would sell it so fast that I would need to make sure I had more. And so, yeah, I have more yak, more silk, and I will be restocking some of that along with the add-ons. But I already did dye the whole first round of add-ons, so that way I could be confident that I could dye 20 more. Because I think yesterday, I dyed like 28 skeins, and so then I'm like, okay, I can do 20 more. I have time in the schedule, I can do that. And so I always want to make sure that I know I have the capacity to complete any orders that I am going to be sharing. But anyway, I better get dyeing. I am currently working on making some of the progress keepers. I don't make the charms myself. I mean, occasionally I do, but I do assemble the little lobster claws onto the charms myself. And so that technically makes them handmade. But I have a lot of fun going and picking out charms for various projects. And, oh, this one has like a different orientation. Interesting. I have a lot of fun picking out the charms for various projects, and I actually have like a huge collection of miscellaneous charms on hand because I'm always like researching and seeing. And so a lot of times the charms that I use for like add-ons and bonuses and things like that are charms that I considered, but then either couldn't get the quantity that I needed or something like that. So this particular charm, this little paint palette, oh my gosh. This little paint palette charm that I'm working on making right now, I have a whole pile right there, actually inspired part of the theme for this project. I liked that on this palette, the little colors really did look like they could be dyes being used. And so I thought that it would be really, really fun. Then the other one that I have to make are glittery rainbows, which is also very, very fun. But anyway, I really enjoy like searching for various charms to make fun progress keepers. Not everything I do works perfectly. I found this really, really cool, like iridescent foil cardstock. And not only could I not really write on it, but it also didn't cut well. Like it doesn't stick well to the mat, which granted, this mat needs replacing. You can see remnants from when I was cutting Shrinky Dinks one Hanukkah. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe I'll figure out a way to use this for something else, or I can hand cut some labels for the bonus skeins and maybe glue something on it. I might try that because there are not that many, and this foil is so cool. But anyway, I was able to stick with the same general design, but I'm testing it out on some just cardstock. And I also already had this really cool holographic vinyl for the numbers that I was planning on using, which I don't think would have had enough contrast with this foil, so I wouldn't have used the numbers on this, and it meant that I think the design is better this way. Label designs often go through multiple rounds of iteration, and at this point, I try to bring a unique element into each thing, but I think that like at some point I might start reusing certain things, not because I'm out of ideas, but because I like some of the things I've settled on, and they're pretty unique to me because I made them. But I do enjoy having these little like custom elements just to help make the packages feel really, really special. Some of you got multiple sets, and so you might end up with a little mini rainbow if you tried out a few different yarn bases. And so I'm really excited with the little butterflies. It was just really, really fun to set up and play around with a lot of different cardstock I have. Plus, this will make it visually easier for me to find the various kinds of minis when it comes to the actual packaging stage, because I think I'm going to pack things in order of days, and then after that sort it into the various bases. I think that makes the most sense. It's almost time for me to start packing up the samplers, but for now I am adding labels to more of the yarn sets. This is some of the second round of dyeing that I had done. Goodness, there are a lot of different colorways, which interestingly on our yak base, they do look fairly similar in some of the circumstances. Here we have the speckled with two different colors, the depths of shade at the darkest depth of shade of neon, and then our variegated neon from night 2. And pulled back, there's similarities to each of them, but when knit up, well, this one is one of the imperfect ones because there was some color transfer, but when I redo this kind of colorway, each color will be distinct, will not have multiple hues on it. This one will be variegated. There'll be stitches of different colors, potential pooling. And then this one probably won't pool, but it does have a lighter color overall. Another thing looking at this that's really fun to me, and granted the depth of shade is really different, but when we have our layering colors for the dark rainbow but without the black, the hues here are so close to our quote perfect rainbow where I mixed the colors just with 3 primary colors to create all of those hues. And so I'm still so proud of like this Crayola kind of rainbow that we have here. Whereas this one is definitely more tonal versus semi-solid, sort of intentionally. I did try to pull a yak from each of the different days so that way we could compare. I mean, these are two different depths of shade, but otherwise we can compare how colors look on that yak base versus one that was more white to start with. I didn't pull any of the silk bases for this sort of group shot just because the silk is significantly different in some cases from some of them. And so I would be hard pressed to pick a favorite of them. I've actually pulled a lot of different ones that I want to keep for myself. I love this wild variegated one a lot. It's really exciting for me. I adore the dark rainbow and the speckled a lot. But I am so proud of making this perfect rainbow video and also finally looking at the neon depths of shade video. So I am just really happy with this entire series, entire collection of videos, and I really hope that you have enjoyed the process. Believe it or not, there are other ideas that I had that because of time I did not do for the series this year, but I would love to do maybe as like a one-off special event or something in the future. I received a really interesting question on Etsy the other day, and it was mostly in general about why when there are samplers or advents, Hanukkah samplers and things like that, there isn't a worsted weight option, why all of the options are fingering and DK weight. And I wanted to take a moment to talk about this, but first to pose a question, would you like me to provide a worsted weight option for the 2023 Spring Summer Mini Skein mini series? In this type of special series, I can look at a wide variety of different yarn bases, and I believe there is a worsted weight base that I could buy the minis for already, and so it wouldn't be an issue for me to add one there. It would be challenging for me to add a worsted weight base for Hanukkah, where instead of dyeing like sets for each video, each night it's a different colorway, and so logistically having more than 2 different yarn bases would be challenging for me to keep track of and wrap in the end. And so for that, I want to stick with 2. But I think a reason why I haven't done it as much is that I don't get as many requests for worsted weight yarn as I do for fingering and DK. When you have a thinner yarn, there is more yardage, and so therefore the mini skein sort of goes a little further. And yeah, I'm just not sure if there's as much interest in worsted weight minis, but again, I'm willing to play with them, and I think I even saw some bulky pre-made minis. Now, if you're a dyer that makes your own mini skeins, whether you dye the colorway and then break it down into minis, or you make your own minis and then dye those, then you're not limited to the bases that are commercially available. And there are times where I will wind my own mini skeins, but it does take a substantial period of time. It can take a really long time. And so it's worth paying a little bit more money to get the minis pre-made at times when you're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of mini skeins. But anyway, the reason why I haven't done it at this point is I wasn't sure how much interest there was, but let me know. And yeah, maybe I'll do some kind of polls over the bases I'll pick for next year's SMSMS. I lose track of it when I say it out loud. I can type it no problem. I lose track when I say it. But yeah, I'm happy to consider other bases. And I actually do have 2 fingering weight bases that I ended up not using. I have a single ply, I think superwash merino, and then a fingering weight Donegal nep yarn. And I did intend to incorporate them in, but then I realized I think that maybe I have a lot of variety, and so maybe I should just stick to that. But absolutely, one of the best parts of this series for me is looking at all of the different yarn bases that I used, seeing which end up dyeing a little bit more similar, where some of the colors maybe spread a little more, where in one pot one may absorb a little bit less color than some of the others and things like that. There are so many more yarn-based comparisons that I can do, that I plan to do, and I'm just always really excited to look at different things side by side and make comparisons. And I really, really hope that you have all enjoyed this series. But anyway, now I better start wrapping these up. And here is one of the kits. I don't know if I've shown these bags yet, but I love them. They'd be good for notions or all kinds of other things because you can kind of see what's in them, which makes it easy to search. And then here is the holographic flower with a butterfly label. And then the two progress keepers are attached on here as well. But anyway, it's fun, and I'm using this rainbow glitter tissue paper that I love. And then these will go into some fun bags that I have. And then these sets are gonna go inside these watercolor that feature a rainbow of colors, floral, spring, summery bags for shipping. At least the sets that don't have, there's some orders that have many, many sets, and those will go in probably my standard big purple bags. But for just the standalone sets, these are the bags that I'm going to use this time. Here are all the components. Ooh, you can really see the rainbow on the sticker. And then we've got the enamel pin, progress keepers, and you can see the rainbow a bit on the label too. I'm still working out the best system for wrapping it, but I make sure to have the label on hand before I wrap up the yarn in the tissue. That way I won't forget what the yarn base is by the time I get to the packaging. But in the past, I've done a lot of like making my own project bags. And I mean, it wasn't in the cards to do it this time. But I'm just so excited by these rainbow bags. I know I've said that already. But yeah, they are just really, really fun. And then, yeah, and then I will, into the zipper, put the twist tie. The only unfortunate thing is that having the progress keepers on the label means that it can be a little bit harder to see them, but I don't really have a good alternative. I wanted to do something so that way if someone has issues with, say, untwisting this, they wouldn't have to unclip the progress keepers from say this part of the zipper. They could cut the zip tie to remove it if dexterity wise sort of using the little lobster claw would be hard, because you don't have to use the lobster claw with them. You can use them as just a traditional stitch marker. But anyway, we've got another little bag. Oh, I love the shine of that holographic sticker. Got a little assembly line going. Lots of bonuses. Hopefully the butterflies don't all fall off the tags, but I did write, like on the back of this, I put an S on the back of the sock ones, blank on the back of the blanks, and DK on the back of these, just in case the butterflies pop off. That way I'm not gonna have to undo them to figure out what is on the inside. I am finally editing the SMSMS videos. The series starts in a little bit over a week, so very, very soon. But I noticed a calculation error from night one, and so it's a little bit of a facepalm moment. When I set up those other colors, I hadn't gone back, I think, to double check, and I think I just miscalculated how many samples and what my lightest depth of shade was, and so yeah, I had a bit of a math error. So anyway, this is a reason why it's important to write things down instead of just doing colors in a video and then writing down things after the fact, which is the way I often do things. It's not a very good lab setup. And there we have it! The end of the 2022 Spring Mini Skein mini-series. I have had so much fun in the live chat rooms every night hanging out with all of you. And some of you may have noticed that I have some new custom emotes that I've been using in the chat. Recently, I turned on channel memberships, And with those, you can get loyalty badges, and then you can use these fun emotes in the chat and in comments on the videos. These channel memberships start at 99 cents a month. I really did wish that I could make it free, so that way the badges and emotes could be available to everyone who's a subscriber, but unfortunately YouTube wouldn't let me do that, so I made it as cheap as possible. So no pressure, but it's just a fun way to interact, and really, I wanted to be able to make my own emotes and use those, and I'm having so much fun, and more should probably be available now because some of them should be ready in a couple days from when I'm filming this, so before the vlog, the new ones may be out. But the biggest thing that you can do to help support the content here on the ChemKnits Tutorials YouTube channel and special series like this is by subscribing and turning on notifications. That is completely free, and the more you watch and engage with the content, the more YouTube is likely to recommend it to other people who might be interested in playing with color and yarn. I kept a few sets for myself this year. I think I only kept 5 sets from the series this year. I kept 1 from night 5, 2 from night 2, and 2 from night 3, I think, because yeah, I just really like them, and I have a few different ideas of what I want to make with them, and maybe some weaving, but also I do have the capacity to recreate some of these colorways, and I'm obsessed with them. I love rainbows. So yeah, if you have one of the sets, please let me know what you're making down in the comments, and feel free to tag me on Instagram. I've already been tagged in some works in progress, and it's so much fun to see. As of night 3 of the series, the morning of night 3, I still have a couple of the sets left. And if after the vlog tonight there are any remaining, I'll probably leave them up for a few more days before breaking down these sets to list some of that yarn individually. But currently the only way to get the bag and the progress keepers is through the set. And you can get, I guess, the sticker and the pin. Those are both listed individually in the shop right now as well. Now, do I have any other special series coming up? I do have an idea for a series or set or collection kind of thing that is a little bit more niche than rainbows. The appeal might not be as broad. That I don't know if it's going to happen this year. It may need to wait until next year because I got called for jury duty in the fall. So I need to make sure that I get on dyeing for Hanukkah in case, you know, I am not available to dye yarn for a while then. But as I've kind of mentioned here, I do start thinking about themes and extras pretty far in advance of the series itself. And so it's so much fun, and I really, really enjoy putting all these little components together. I don't know, it just makes it feel like a wrapped present care package kind of thing, and it brings me a lot of joy to put all these little details together. And so I really hope that you have enjoyed the series of videos. If you have one of the sets, unwrapping and playing with that, but I think the whole thing is just so fun, and I love doing it. And we're not done with rainbows. There will be a lot more rainbow dyeing, even if there's not going to be a whole rainbow dedicated mini series again. Don't worry, I am not done playing with any of these colors. And whew, those custom mixes of the neons, those need some more attention. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and thank you so much for watching.